You want to learn how to sell t-shirts at Disneyland? Let me help you out.
Fat Man Scoop, Brooklyn Clan. What's up, y'all? This is Fat Man Scoop. And right now, you watching the sensei, the number one, the king, my dude, Big Brando. He taught me, personally, me, Fat Man Scoop. All you gotta do is keep your mouth closed and your ears open. Listen to the man talk. That's knowledge personified right there, and I wouldn't trust nobody else but my dude, Big Brando. And I said it. Fat Man Scoop, Big Brando, let's go!
What's happening, everybody? Boy Big Brando, and today let's talk about selling t-shirts at Disneyland. Now, as most of you guys know this, I used to actively sell t-shirts at Disneyland when I was running the Churro Squad. You guys remember the Churro t-shirt that I made? Had the praying hands with the churro in it. You see a lot of people stealing that design now, but you guys know who was doing it first. If you ever wanted to see how I was doing this, you can always go to Instagram and check out the Churro Squad. Type in the Churro Squad. You'll see my old logo of the praying hands with the churro. You'll see my dumbass face on the page also. But you can see everything on how I was building that brand up, how I was selling the t-shirts, and all of the dope supporters that were buying the t-shirts. Also, I made a playlist about this already, and the playlist was called Printing Money. So if you ever wanted to see the whole story on how this happened, what I did, my marketing strategy, everything laid out, broken down video by video, go to the playlist and look up Printing Money. I talk about everything from the marketing that worked, from the marketing attempts that didn't work, how I tested the design, everything. So if you really wanted to see the whole thing unfolded in detail, there it is. But I know there's a lot of people that hit me up and they know that I used to do the churro t-shirts, and they're making t-shirts and they want to learn how to sell more, and they're having a hard time promoting their t-shirts, getting buried by bigger Etsy accounts, and they want to know how I did it. Now, first things first, this isn't the only way to do something. This is what worked for me. This is how I did it. This is how I seen success and made some profit, but this isn't the only way to do it. There's a lot of people out there that sell t-shirts that are Disney themed, that have whole brands that are Disney themed, and they do things a lot different than I do, but this is what worked for myself. So years ago, me and my family were Disneyland annual pass holders. I think they call them something different now, but back then, this is pre-pandemic, we were pass holders. We would go to Disneyland a couple times out the week. Remember, I live in Los Angeles. It's not far from Disneyland. We would go in the evenings. We would go on the weekends. We would be there all the time. The more I went to Disneyland, the more I seen people wearing Disney-related t-shirts, whether they bought it at the park or they bought it from somebody with a Cricut or a Cameo and they were making custom t-shirts. It was everything from hats, shirts, jerseys. I think the big thing now is the Spirit jerseys that has like the big Disneyland across the back. I started seeing a lot of people do that, especially when the puff print stuff started to pop off, and then using stuff like EconoPuff helps you create that puffed effect on those Spirit jersey type shirts. It's a big deal, but there's a lot of money to be made in that space too, but that's not what we're talking about here. But if somebody wanted to create their own Spirit jerseys, you can buy those jerseys blank and you can use stuff like EconoPuff and press that stuff on. I'm just saying. Now, so what I was seeing was a lot of people making shirts, selling shirts, tons of people wearing shirts. You gotta remember, Disneyland has some of the most loyal fans ever, from kids to adults. I'm talking like Disney go-hards. So if it's something cool and clever that not a lot of people have, because at this point, it's all about being exclusive. It's all about having something that not everybody has. So a lot of times, people might see something that's like, oh, that's cool, and then they'll buy it from a store in the park and they'll wear it for a month and then notice everybody has it and they stop wearing it. So showing up to Disneyland with something that nobody else has is a big deal. As somebody that creates brands, as somebody that creates t-shirts, I noticed this early on, but I just couldn't figure out how I could get my footprint into this space. There's already a lot of people doing Disney related stuff. A lot of people's Etsy accounts were getting shut down at the time because they're using a ton of different, characters and things that are trademarked by Disney, using the word Disneyland and Disney World and Disney in general, using Mickey Mouse ears and everything that Disney already owns. You'd be dumb to think that they're not gonna go after the small creators and the big creators that are doing this stuff, because you're capitalizing on their trademarks, you're capitalizing on their IPs. That's somebody's shit that they own. meaning Disney, the mouse, does not play around with that stuff. So I knew I wasn't gonna go in that space. I already knew that. I said, nah, I'm not doing that. The other thing I would see all the time is people would go to Disneyland just for the food. There's a lot of different food there. There's people that go there solely for the food. I was one of them. I used to go to Disneyland just to drink beer and eat crazy food. So I knew there was something there. That's why I chose the churro. Churro carts are everywhere in Disneyland, California Adventure, in both parks. In downtown Disney, there's churro carts everywhere. You smell them, you see them, they are everywhere. Those carts usually have the longest lines. So it's a thing that everybody is into. Now, there was already food-related t-shirts out there, but there was nobody doing it the way that I would buy something. So that's where I came in. I was like, man, if I wanted to buy a churro t-shirt because I love them and I come to Disneyland all the time, what would I want it to look like? I don't want it to look fun and playful and bubbly like Disney stuff. Like if you bought a t-shirt from somewhere in Disneyland, that's what you're gonna get, right? I wanted something that was gonna be funny. I wanted something that was gonna be acceptable to wear for my own style. And I wanted something to stand out. So what I did was I played on old school RIP t-shirts. So what the t-shirt said was, in loving memory, in Old English, exactly like you used to see long time ago when somebody would pass away, they would make RIP t-shirts to wear to the funeral. This is what I played on. Back of the shirt said, in loving memory, in Old English. And at the bottom it said, of all the churros I'm about to eat. So it's funny in the sense of, hey, I'm wearing a in loving memory t-shirt. Somebody's gonna read it and be like, oh man, who passed away? And then when they see a big word that says churros, they read through the shirt and they're like, hey, that's me. I devour churros when I come here, or I'm always killing churros when I go to Disneyland. This is a perfect shirt for me. So the front of the shirt had the praying hands, like everybody knows. And inside the praying hands, I put a churro, obviously playing on the old school RIP t-shirts. Praying hands, you would usually see a rosary wrapped around that. It's always on the little prayer cards when you go to a funeral. If you know what it is, you know exactly what it is. That's the t-shirt. Cut it out in vinyl. I didn't promote it on Instagram. I didn't promote it anywhere. I need to make this shirt and see if people want to wear it. So I cut it out on vinyl. Praying hand with the churro on the front, loving memory on the back. Let's go to Disneyland. I go with the family. First thing is cast members, people standing in line, people walking, people taking pictures of the shirt. This is all the data that I need, is people asking me about my shirt. Hey, that's funny. Hey, where'd you get that shirt? Can I take a picture of that shirt? Hey, I'm eating a churro. Can I take a picture with your shirt while I'm eating this churro? This is all the stuff that I needed. Easy call. And now I know I got a winner here. So the first thing, make a t-shirt that's very, very relatable, that not anybody is doing there currently. Don't be influenced by other t-shirts that you see there, because at that point you're gonna start to kind of copy the design. You don't want to do that. You want to make something very original, but at the same exact time, you're gonna want to make something that you can't buy in the parks already. So coming up with an original design is gonna be key. Something relatable to that audience. Obviously, you guys know if you're watching this video, you go to Disneyland or you want to make money in this space. Don't use any of their trademark stuff. Don't use ears. Don't use the castle. Don't use characters' faces, names, all that stuff. Stay away from all that. Think outside the box when you go here. Make something relatable and wear it there. That's all you have to do. You wear it there. People are going to see it. This is the people you want to sell to. This is the people that are going to be buying this shirt. That's your target audience. Wear it to where your target audience lives. In Disneyland, wear it around, get that information, collect all that information. People talk about your shirt, people say, hey, that's a cool shirt, where'd you get that shirt? You see it all the time. There's people that are walking around as a family and it says like, you know, so-and-so's first birthday, and they're using like that Mickey Mouse font, or it'll say like mom, dad, child, blah, 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 and it'll have it in the font or whatever. You see it all the time. A lot of times, if somebody sees a creative version of that, they're gonna ask them like, hey, where'd you get those shirts from? Those are cool shirts. And most of the time they're like, I bought it on Etsy, I bought it from this person, or I make them. So when somebody comes up to you and says, where'd you get that shirt? You tell them, oh, I made this. Here's my card. Here's a sticker, here's a coupon code, here's a flyer. Always have that stuff in your pocket. So then that way you can promote to them and be like, hey, check it out. I make these shirts, you can buy it here. Done deal. Next thing I did was put them up on my website, got transfers made, I was going. But I needed a way for people to understand who I was and what I was selling, and I needed more people to see it, people that weren't at the park that day. So what my wife did was she went into these Disney groups, she took a picture of my shirt, or me holding a churro, or maybe my daughter holding the churro in front of my shirt. She took a picture and she posted it in there. Hey, we're at Disneyland today. That's all it said. We love churros, or something like that. Now these Facebook groups are blowing up. Crazy. Oh, that's a cool shirt. Where'd you get that from? Blah, 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 blah. Now more people are starting to see it. So utilize the groups, utilize Disneyland, and make something unique, original, and relatable. Now, this is something that I used to do. I don't know if you could do this anymore, if they might have stopped this, but I used to do giveaways in the park. So once these Facebook groups kind of caught on to what I was doing, they're like, nah, you can't do that. You can't be selling t-shirts in our group. That's not what this is made for, blah, blah, blah. Because I was going in there and like, hey, this is where you guys can buy the shirt. And I was sending my link to buy the shirt. Once the moderators and the admins of the groups started to catch on what I was doing, they shut me down. So what I would do is I would go to separate groups and I would be like, hey, check it out. If anybody in this group finds me in Disneyland on this day, I'll give them a free t-shirt while supplies last. And maybe I'll bring like 2 t-shirts with me. So this way, now the owner of the group is like, hey, cool, this guy's giving away something free to members of this group only. I'll leave this post up of him wearing the t-shirt. So now they know me by face. They know the t-shirt that I sell that I'm giving away. So when people hit me up, what they're doing is they're going to my wife's page, and that's where the link would be, right? They'd be like, oh man, that's the guy that sells it, because I didn't have a Facebook account at the time. So they would go to my wife's page. My wife would have, you know, the Churro Squad link there. They would buy the t-shirts that way. So now my t-shirt is still being promoted in these groups, because usually they would take the post down, but now since I'm giving something away for free to members of the group, they're letting the post stay up. So strategically, I was figuring out a way for them to leave my post up so more people could see my t-shirts. And now I'm looked at as a cool person because I'm giving away something for free. Everybody loves a free giveaway and everybody loves some sort of scavenger hunt. So I would say, hey, find me in the parks. I'm gonna be at California Adventure today. This is what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the t-shirt. This is what I look like. Find me, say what's up. I'll give you a t-shirt. So now I would do this in a bunch of different groups. Not just, I would find the ones that have a ton of members, 100,000 members or whatever. And then I would post it in there. Hey, I want to give this away to members of this group. I'll be at Disneyland on this day. Now that t-shirt's floating around in that group. It's floating around in this group. And people are just going to my wife's page. Hey, we're not going to be at Disneyland, so we're not going to be able to participate in this giveaway, but we'd like to buy one. Bingo, they go to my wife's page. They see the website. They click the link. They order up. This is how I was promoting this one single churro t-shirt. That's all it was. They know exactly who's selling it. So when they see me in the parks, they'd be like, oh, check it out. I would bring t-shirts with me sometimes and be like, yeah, I sell them. I got a few sizes with me. I don't know if you could do that anymore, but I used to just throw them in my son's stroller, because at the time my son was young. So we would pull up with the stroller. The bottom of the stroller would be full of t-shirts, and I would sell them out the stroller and be like, hey man, I make these shirts. I got a few sizes right now. If you want to buy them, 20 bucks. Bingo. And when I would go through security, I would just tell them, hey, these are given away. I'm giving these away to the people in there. They'd be like, all right, cool. But instead of giving them away, I'd be over there selling them. You know what I mean? So yeah, me and my wife would just make a ton of money doing that, man. Selling t-shirts at Disneyland. This is how I did it. Is this the only way to do it? Probably not. There's more ways of doing things, but this is what worked for me. Organic reach, unique design, original idea. That's all it was. If you ever wanted to see how I did this and how I promoted the page and built the page up and all that, just look up the Churro Squad on Instagram. When you check that out, you could scroll to the very bottom and see when I first posted it, how I was posting, how I was creating content for that page. I did a lot of reposting. Anytime somebody posted a churro and they hashtag churro, all I would do is repost that picture because it was churro related, and that was it. And if you really wanted to dive deep into everything that I did for the brand, this was kind of the Cliff Notes version of it. But if you really wanted to dive deep into it, the playlist is called Printing Money, because that's basically what I was doing. We called my little workspace when I used to press out the house, we called that the Churro Factory, because every day I was banging out churro t-shirts and I was making a shitload of money, man, off of one t-shirt. That's all it takes. Hopefully this video helps you guys out. If you're thinking about selling t-shirts at Disneyland, this is what you have to do. Come up with an original idea, something very unique and relatable to Disney lovers. Use your body as the billboard and wear your t-shirts to there. Make sure you have stickers and business cards or discount codes in your pocket when you go there. So if anybody asks about your t-shirt or says, hey, can I take a picture of that shirt? Or, hey, that's a cool shirt, where'd you get it from? You can be like, boom, I make them, I sell them. Here's a business card, here's a sticker. I use stickers as my business cards. So my stickers were of the hands with the churro in it, and on the bottom I had the website. So that way I'd give them the sticker and be like, hey, check it out, website's on the bottom. That way I didn't have to print stickers and business cards. Sticker was just way easier. So when anybody asked about the t-shirt, I'd be like, here you go, man, website's on the bottom, I make them. Or if you had a backpack or a stroller with t-shirts in them, like, hey, check it out, man, I got them right here if you want to buy them. But you got to do that on the sneaky sneak. I don't know if Disneyland kind of caught on to that, but when I was doing it, it was an easy move. And if you wanted to see how I did the giveaways, how I did all that stuff, it's all on the Instagram. I no longer monitor that Instagram account. Like, you'll see everything is dated did pre the pandemic. I'm not at Disneyland like that anymore, so there's that, but that's how I was making that money. If you sell t-shirts that are Disney related or you're at Disneyland slanging t-shirts, I am very curious to know how you're doing it. So leave it in the comments for me. If you got a different strategy, if you run an Etsy shop that makes Disney related things, let me know how that's going. Follow me on Instagram, Big Brando TV. We could talk in the comments over there. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.